comes from somewhere. And if you don't have faith in that, then what you're going to do is you're going to vote people into office who promote subsidies for whichever business has their ear. They're going to put in tariffs to protect whichever business has their ear. And we can see this right now. Savannah was talking about being forced to take injections. Well, the incumbent, a Republican, by the way, the Republican incumbent is funding the CDC to basically advertise for vaccinations. Well, vaccinations are good tools. Vaccinations are good against measles. Vaccinations are good against polio. I'm not saying, hey, let's get rid of vaccinations, but you can go read it. It's HB 2862. The literal purpose of the program is to increase consumption of vaccinations throughout the lifetime. It's almost an exact quote. That is not the purpose of government. So be very, very thoughtful. Whoever you're voting for, I'm obviously a libertarian. That probably gives it away. I'm a libertarian, so vote for Robert Perry for District 2, vote for Joe Jorgensen, vote for Frank Harris, vote for Jacob Clark, Tim Philback. We've got a few others running. Amanda Billings, that's a big one. But never mind that for a moment. Have faith that the government that governs least governs best, and vote for that. I'm really short on time, but does anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
Running against again?
Brett Guthrie. And I have some door hangers here. One side gives a little about me, and the other side talks a little about Brett. You can see where he's been basically he says yes to everything Nancy Pelosi wants to spend money on. You go look at the voting record. I don't know, but it talks about that, subsidizing. My graphics person put them in blue. I guess you got confused. I don't know how that happened. What do you have, Jacob?
And you said that Brett's the one that's pushed the bill to spend $30 million promoting vaccines.
I tried to make it too terse. It's $75 million surveilling people who don't want to take vaccinations and talk bad about vaccinations. I'm simplifying a little. And another $30 million promoting their adoption. I'm sorry, do you have a question?
Yeah. What is your vision on how to slow down or stop this national debt that's occurring every single day?
Okay, I love that question. I come from, libertarians are always taxation stuff. Yeah, it is. But I like to approach the problem from a different angle. I don't really focus on taxing less. I focus on we need to stop doing things that aren't help defend life, help defend liberty, help defend property. Because that is the purpose of government. When it's doing anything else, when it's enforcing tariffs to protect businesses, when it's doing subsidies, when it's selling vaccines, when it's doing anything like that, that's actually working to tear our country apart, which makes life even more expensive. That's why the slogan right here is peace is prosperity. It's the idea that we're all more prosperous when we're not at each other's throats. This is actually very simple. So we use government to promote the world being the way we view it should be. Like the atomic family. I'm in front of a bunch of Republicans right now. That's fine. I think the atomic family is the right way to go. I really do. But that doesn't mean the government should be subsidizing it. It doesn't mean the government should be using taxes to promote it. Because once they do, we start fighting each other. It's like, well, I want to live life a different way. Well, that's fine. You live life a different way. But you put these things in place saying we should live like this. See, it sneaks up on you. You have to limit it to life, liberty, and property. I don't care how well-meaning that other thing you have in mind is, it's going to backfire on you. Anything else? What do you got, Dale?
Robert Perry.
Yeah, Dale always asks hard questions.
I'm usually shy enough.
Go ahead,
I
Dale.
mean, no, Robert's running for Congress right here in this district where you sit, when the incumbent, Greg Guthrie, has a 33% approval rating with Gun Owners of America. He has a 40% approval rating with John Birch Society. He has a 30% approval rating with Mark Levine's Conservative Review. So if you all consider yourselves conservative, I don't consider myself conservative, I consider myself libertarian and an anarcho-capitalist. So if you consider yourselves conservatives, the gentleman speaking to you is far more conservative than your incumbent Republicans. So I hope by Kentucky will endorse this gentleman. So.
Thank you. And yeah, I kind of tried to slip that in there too. You have a right to defend. It's not just you have a right to life, liberty, and property. You have a right to defend your life, liberty, and property. You can't do that if you don't have the tools you need to do it. That's the first thing. You have that right. Government's layered on so we can come together to better defend those rights, not to take some of them away. Anything else?
Yes.
Go for it.
I know libertarians are split on this question. Can you tell us personally what's your view of abortion?
Sure. I actually like that question. Me and Jacob Clark talk about that a lot. Jacob is extreme, at least within my party. Well, he's extreme pro-life. If you were going to just boil it down, you would probably say I'm pro-choice. But I largely align with the walls as is. This discussion of like late stage abortion, no, of course not. That's crazy. Because again, the point to government, one of those things is to defend life. It's just really a question of at what point is our obligation as a society to defend life. And I understand that some people think we have a responsibility to defend it at conception. I disagree with that. On the other hand, I will never, ever, ever vote for taking your money to fund what you consider to be murder. That's beyond the pale. So, yeah, if you really want to boil it down, I'm pro-choice, but I'm not that pro-choice. I'm kind of a libertarian pro-choice, and that's
what you said is very important because
yeah.
the economy is. I'm jumping here really quickly. The economy of that is you're against giving millions and millions and probably billions at this point to Planned Parenthood,
Absolutely.
like Republicans, Donald Trump, and Mitch McConnell do all the time.
Absolutely.
I'm guessing that's also Brett Guthrie, right?
I didn't
Yeah.
check that one.
I was going to ask about the 2018 to 2020 platform for libertarians. It seems like it's taken a radical shift from, say, 2016 when I'm talking about the immigration plank, the plural marriage plank, and the prostitution plank. I'm just curious what your individual.
Well, I did try to touch on that just briefly with the idea of the point to government is to go no further. So, for example, multiple marriage, polygamy. I'm not interested in taking anyone's tax dollars to say you can't marry multiple people. It's not that I'm pro-polygamy. It's just I'm not going to enforce that. I'm just not going to. LGBTQ. To me, LGBTQ, it's again, people living their life however they want to live their life. I don't recommend we use government to promote people living how we should live. Now, on the flip side, I said something earlier. I said I really do think the atomic family is the best model. So the other thing is we shouldn't subsidize subcultures within our society. Like Rick Santorum, I really don't like Rick Santorum. Sorry if you happen to like him, but he made a really good point. He made a really good pitch that people who wait until marriage to have kids, people who wait, basically people who live the type of lifestyle that Republicans classically promote, they end up almost never in poverty. It's true. They tend up with a better lifestyle. So that is a good way to teach people to live the right way. Moral sentiment. People never talk about moral sentiment. That was actually Adam Smith's first book, The Theory of Moral Sentiment. It's basically the idea that we as a society, the way we smile at each other or frown at each other or things like that, this moves information within our society on how to behave. This trains us as a society in a much gentler, more compassionate way where we get to know each other as individuals and we nudge each other in the right direction rather than using force. Immigration. To me, if you have a problem with immigration, the problem you have is probably to do with welfare. But for me, there's the idea of keeping dangerous people outside the country. And apart from that, it goes back to we shouldn't subsidize society. If somebody can come here and work their butt off and make a good living, then they're doing it by delivering value to the rest of us. I say let them in. So I don't like quotas. To the extent that we do have quotas, sure, they should be merit-based. That gets hairy. How do you determine merit? Who determines merit? I like the idea of people hiring them determining merit, but it still gets hairy. To me, and the flip side of that, because people get nervous because they're going to come here and take our jobs, guess what? They're going to take our jobs over there. It really doesn't matter. This is going to be a global economy now. I work as a software engineer. I compete with every other software engineer on the planet. And putting up barriers around me, by the way, is not going to make me a better software engineer. You want me to be a better software engineer? Put me against the best software engineers on the planet. You do not make our country strong by coddling subsections of our economy and protecting them from competition. You make our country strong by making people exercise and stand up and say, I can make it better, I can make it cheaper, I can make a superior product. We need to be exposed to products from other countries that we have to compete with. Because even if we don't have to compete with them domestically, if you protect us from China's goods here, you're still going to have to compete with China in Canada, England, France, Spain, absolutely everywhere else. So if we want to be a global competitor, we should protect ourselves from nothing. We should take on everything. Anything else? I gotta go, guys. What time is it?
2:30.
Okay, one more.
All right, well, here's the only thing about marriage.
Okay.
What's your position on sex education? Because we're not living in a blank slate. There's a history.
Right.
They push this stuff. They got people out of a traditional lifestyle. Therefore, basically took what was already there. The government interfered with it. And now we say, well, now we have a platform.
Well, we need choice in education. I mean, for you to get to take Clint's money and educate kids the way you think they should, and maybe Clint doesn't feel that way, that's not right. That's not right. So school choice. School choice answers most of that. Well, I said one more. I'll do one more because I was pretty quick. Anything else? No? All right. Thank you very much. I do have some papers back there. I'm leaving them with Jacob Clark if anyone needs them.
Yeah, you're in the second district here. A number of us live in